So if you've ever loved Jesus but not agreed with your spouse about where or even how to worship, this conversation might hit close to home.
When Lori and I first sat down to discuss blended family tension in church.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you. We thought we'd be talking about just the expectations versus reality.
But what started about a simple conversation about church culture quickly turned into something much deeper.
Something that, without realizing it, ended up shaping our marriage for years.
Yeah. By the end of this conversation, we both realized God was actually restoring something that neither of us had named before.
So, if you ever struggled with family, faith,
and church,
and church not quite fitting together the way you had hoped,
stay with us because this conversation might help you see those tensions in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome. We're going to try a little something new. We're going to try our very first podcast. You can see that we don't have childcare, so this is going to be a fascinating process, seeing what this is like. Our little one
getting my nails done.
Girl dad. Yeah, the reality is this. Paint mommy's nails.
Oh.
Just don't paint my ring, okay? We thought we'd sit down and have a honest conversation about what it's been like navigating a second marriage and a blended family inside church spaces, because it's something people don't typically talk about. I haven't come across any information about what it's been like for another blended family when you have two Christian backgrounds but not necessarily from the same church, and then you try to navigate this whole new dynamic in the church spaces. How to do it. Right, honey?
That's right, honey. And also, I'm going to be asking you a question at the end of this that I don't think I've asked you before.
All right.
Okay? So,
There's a question you have not asked me before.
That's right. So, better stick around to see what that question is and how my wife answers it.
I'm curious to see what that one is. Okay, so in order to talk about this, what it's been like having a blended family within a church environment or a Christian environment, we are going to answer 6 main questions. If we have time for more, we'll get into more.
So this is coffee time with Corey and Lauren?
Yes, this is coffee time with Corey and Lauren. Coffee with Corey and Lauren. Gee, that works well.
Fire away.
All right, the honest beginning. So, honey, when we first started attending church spaces together as a blended family,
years ago,
8.5 years ago, what did we expect it would feel like, and what surprised us?
So this is while we were dating before we were married?
Yeah, that's when we started attending the two churches together.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to put myself back into that.
Well, remember the conversation we had on my couch, and you're like, what's your church situation? Are you satisfied with where you're at? And you said you were flexible, but there were certain things that were important to you.
Because you were hot.
Yes, he will say these offhanded, unfiltered things once in a while. You said, what are we going to do about church?
Yeah, because that's pretty important.
So there were two very different styles of church.
I had me and my kids used to a certain style.
Yeah.
And then you and Esther were used to your style. And how would we blend those together so the kids felt like there's not much of a change, I guess?
Or just felt like what we were doing in unity. So what did you expect ahead of time? Did you have expectations?
Yeah, that we just start going to my church. So I had my community group, and the kids used to their Sunday school classes.
Yeah.
And their teachers, their friends, and their school friends. A lot of their school friends went to the same ones. So I think in my mind we'd be doing mine, and at the same time introducing my kids to yours.
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah, I think when we talked about it, I told you how attached I was to the church I grew up in, and then I had also told you about what I went through with my first marriage and how then I became extra protective.
Yes.
And so we decided to do both. in order to sort of feel out what would end up working for our family, right?
And we did both.
We did both for a long time.
Yeah, I think we had was a Saturday night service.
Saturday
at my
night service,
church,
yeah.
and then the Sunday morning
Can
would
you
be
put
yours.
this on?
That's how we practically did it.
It worked. It worked for a while, and my church was very different. It was like there's not a pastor that speaks, and so it's like the whole congregation functions, and it was something very new, a different format.
They didn't really have a children's.
Yeah, the children's program was very like all the ages were meshed together. It was a much smaller environment because it was a home church kind of environment. Okay, so what was it like walking into church as a new couple when people already knew parts of our past?
Well, the church I went to was a very, very large church. We were kind of hidden in a sense.
Yes.
And the people, I guess, that mattered, like my close community care group knew what was going on in my past and knew you.
And the nice thing about care group was it had been sorted out that you were going to continue attending.
Yes.
And your ex-wife was not.
Right.
So that worked out well because when I came into the picture, it wasn't like we were trying to navigate.
Even church itself, my ex.
Yeah, she decided to
step away
from the church you'd been attending together. Yeah. So that worked out well. At your church it was very easy because it was very big.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I felt was people who knew you but didn't know me and had seen you for years with your ex. Like even in the school setting, because the school was connected to the church for you guys. So I remember it was more walking into the school with you when we were dating, not married, and I don't think engaged yet. I felt like the other woman, like an imposter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right? So that was a thing for me internally. It wasn't because anybody treated me funny.
Go to the cave.
It wasn't because anyone looked at me funny. I was very welcomed by everybody that I connected with, including the kids' school, but it was still like it's just one of those things that you navigate when you're the second wife and not the first. And then in my church, you felt out of place, right?
Yeah, it's just you were in from a smaller church.
Yeah.
You can't hide.
No.
Right?
No, exactly.
And
Yeah. Well, I mean, you attended and everyone was really welcoming. Yeah.
I didn't have the X factor.
Yes,
right?
That's right. Yeah.
So it felt fine.
Yeah, because when I was with my ex, I was not in the same city, so it was. Yeah, the dynamic was these people that I attended church with knew my history and knew I had been married before, but also knew when it ended. So that piece wasn't difficult. And I don't think you had the same internal conflict about being the other.
Nope.
You're like, nope, this is my wife, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So our kids came from very different church environments. What were some of the invisible challenges we faced helping them feel like they belonged in both places?
I think it was really difficult for mine to go to your church, just the lack of structure, fun. I mean, they're used to very energetic.
Very energetic teachers, teachers that were like
trained, and that was their jobs. Very structured.
Yeah, it was very different because the house church was just very much like whoever had the burden to serve in children's did, and a lot of times they didn't. English was not their first language, and so there were accents involved. I know that the kids enjoyed crafts, and I know that they enjoyed singing to some extent. But apart from that, it was definitely a challenge to get your kids adjusted. And they never did get adjusted. No, especially because COVID came into the mix. Yeah. And then Esther, she found it, well, she was always very like clinging to me. So going into your church environment, she didn't feel like she could step into that very easily just because it was so different and it was big. That was another piece for her. And I think she also held on to some of the nuance that came from our church, which was
small, intimate. She knew everybody, grew up with everybody.
Yeah. It's different now, isn't it? Anything else where we felt not really judgment? Both places were very very welcoming. It was just these two having two churches that was a challenge.
Yeah, I just found it for me just torn because it was difficult because again your church was very very different from the ones we came to, and I knew that my kids weren't comfortable and wanting to be there, and it was just and I wanted to be there for you, right?
Yeah,
and so it was a very very difficult time, I think, as far as not something I foresaw happening.
No. But somehow we got through all that. Like, we did it together. It wasn't easy. We had like conversations about it. We went to marriage counseling about it because we were both torn. Like, I was protective of the experience I'd had, but I also understood that your kids needed to be comfortable, and so that's why we did both.
Daddy?
Yes, peanut butter. Oh, very lovely. I love it. They match mine now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for being younger in marriage.
You got yours too.
And like making decisions as two separate families. That, I mean, it wasn't just in the church sense. We had to learn how to amalgamate two separate families. And we've said over and over again, God doesn't intend divorce. And so
no, it's messy.
It's messy, no matter how good the two people are, and no matter how much you love each other and what your intentions are. All these things you have to navigate with a broken family situation, and then two broken families coming together it's messy.
Yeah.
And the church thing was definitely messy.
Yeah, it was. Probably the messiest.
I would say so. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's where Satan got his fork in there.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, like, the Lord chose us for each other, and we seem to know that all the way through, and that's what held us together. We didn't fight about it, but there was a tension, inward tension for years. Yeah. And you gave up a lot.
I did. Yeah. Fast forwarding, I stopped going to my church, and either didn't go to church at all or would go to yours. Yeah. Basically, if the kids were during my parenting time, I wouldn't go to church. When it was no parenting time, I would go with you to yours.
Yes.
Kind of did. But then I started getting one-on-ones on the weekends.
That's right. Yeah.
So essentially.
Yeah, the parenting time schedule, that was another big factor for dealing with making church decisions and whether or not to attend. Yeah. It was really heartbreaking for me that we couldn't do something cohesive together.
Daddy!
I love it.
But I literally did not have clarity. So I think that leads us into...
And we did go.
Yeah, we did.
Every week.
Yeah, we did. And it was really special.
Yeah, until we moved away.
Yeah.
About half hour away. And then we tried to, but then our attendance started getting not consistent.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of drifted apart from that. Yeah.
I think we were really good at going even when it wasn't totally consistent, but until we had a little one, then that made it difficult. Plus COVID. Yeah. The other piece was COVID came into the mix. And that sort of ended our church attendance being consistent in any way, shape, or form. Because it was for so long. Like, it was for a couple of years that we had to actually stay away from everybody. Well, okay, you're naturally like an introvert, right? So this whole church attendance piece was like, I'm good with Zoom.
It's COVID, so gotta be Zoom.
Yeah, and for me, I'm the total opposite. I'm social. We talked about not attending anymore because of COVID. And then when that was all over, it literally took my church a long time to like sort out how we were getting back together. Yeah. They still do partial Zoom. And then because we'd moved and then we had a baby, like at the tail end of COVID, then that also changed church attendance. And so it was a really tough season.
Yeah. Well, church in general.
Yeah.
Not just COVID, but just in general. It was a tough season. I mean, it was even one of the, I think, main topics of our marriage counseling when we were doing that.
Yeah, and there was just a lot that I wasn't clear to let go of. But, I mean, we should, it's not one of the planned questions, but we can get into it. Where are we now? Right? Like,
Where are we now?
Well, like...
Neither.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, but how did we navigate it as a couple over time? Well, the one thing I want to point out is you being this is actually something we were just talking about today, and I was like crying because I realized how much he gave up, patiently waiting. He was this husband that loved me like Christ loved the church. He gave himself up for me. Really just praying over what did the Lord want. I mean, we eventually started to, I would say in the last year, we've been really seeking the Lord together as a couple, and not in a divided sense, but in a sense of, okay, well, what is the Lord doing? And whatever it is, may he do it in both of us so that we're on the same page and wanting to be in the same place together.
Yes.
Because it's been a real point of grief for both of us that we feel divided in that sense. And while we've loved each other through it, it's been
a challenge.
Yeah. And so recently we've been church hunting. Right?
Well, I think for the first time you've been seeing I don't know, it's been more on your heart that something's off. How do I word that? I don't know how to word that.
The need to be united.
Also,
and local, and also the need to be in order. Like we've been married for 8.5 years. So I would say, in my heart, the Lord has made us more one over the years in other, in just maturity wise, right? And so this matter of wanting to be where my husband is peaceful, it's something I've been giving to the Lord and asking, okay, Lord, how does that look practically? And what is my position as a wife? Like, I want to be covered, and I don't want to be the spiritual leader of the home. And I was,
which you basically were, because I wasn't I couldn't get comfortable in what's the word here? In the church that you were part of.
And so then for a while I've been attending by myself, taking our littlest one with me, trying to be part of service groups, and Corey's allowed me that process to figure out what the Lord is doing. Like, I think really as a husband, what you've done is allowed me to hear the Lord's voice for myself. And that's been really playing out practically. The more I've prayed and gotten into the Word and we prayed together, the more I've heard the Lord saying, to just allow him to work and allow him to show me. And that has been, I am exhausted trying to be the head of the house spiritually, and don't want that position anymore, and realize that is not what God intended. So and you've been very, very gracious about the process.
Just letting the Lord work and prayer, or the Holy Spirit interceding for me.
You've been quietly serving the Lord behind the scenes, sort of taking the cross. Not just sort of.
But I like the direction where 9 years. Is it 9 years?
I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about where we're at? I feel like I'm talking so much.
I mean, where we're at.
Like the place that I've come to spiritually, and like where
It's
we're
exciting.
at marriage-wise.
Excited.
You're
This-
excited.
This is the one place where our life has been not one.
Yeah. And the only place.
The only place. That's what I said, the one place.
Yeah.
The one and only
Yes.
place. Our life's not been one. So
Right.
I'm excited that that chapter's closing, and
Yeah. Me too.
yeah. Esther's happy about that too.
Yes, she is.
You're gonna start crying.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh, honey.
Edit this out.
Next question. How do you feel like Blue's Clues?
So yeah, I mean, finally, after 8.5 years, we're on the same page and pursuing the Lord together. And I'm just really at a place where, well, I started writing my life story and seeing all the ways that the Lord has brought me to a place of surrender. And this was a place he was pointing at, to surrender. And there's such a huge relief in being able to do that and realize that the provision that the Lord has for wives is that they can be, and the Lord graced me with an amazing husband. I cannot say that enough. A husband I feel safe with, a husband that I can easily submit to, and I've literally come to him in tears going like, this is what's on my heart, and he's like, okay, let's pray through this. And then as we did that,
Lord worked.
yeah.
It's funny how that happens, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
And the little one there getting her roots planted.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we're seeking the Lord step by step for a church family, but doing it together, and we're excited about where we're attending together. And we're seeking the Lord step by step, but I think my biggest relief is just knowing that we're on the same page about that, and I can go to you and say, like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
Because one thing I've learned after 8.5 years of marriage is to trust his spiritual discernment.
Pressure's on.
Well, see, and just by that reaction itself, it tells me, you take it seriously before the Lord,
Yeah.
So, it's not a small thing to you.
Yeah. For me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we weren't, I don't think, doing that because we were separate, spiritually separate. But now we can.
Yes. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And real, like this has been a hard won victory for us.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we have been very humanly good at loving each other, but the spiritual ground has been a point of grief.
Yep. And I know it will be attacked
Yes.
because the deceiver does not want us.
So we have
Together.
to pray for covering.
Oh, big time. That just kind of dawned on me now. We're all excited about it. This is where.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is where
Lord.
we're gonna get attacked. I think like little miniature attacks, like boom.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That they're not understanding the position. And there was an attack on me today that I was talking to you and Esther about, which was...
Is there guilt?
Yeah. And the internal
Battle?
monologue
Yeah.
of, am I doing the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be cursed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Esther and I were just like, what?
Well, I'm really thankful for Esther's heart and her spiritually seeking the Lord. She's been a huge piece of the puzzle as well.
Especially for you.
Oh yeah, so we need to pray about the Lord's covering
Yes.
in every way. Mind and hearts and spiritually staying on the same page.
Yep.
So that's where we're at. That was like the most raw and honest on-camera conversation. What?
Well,
What was your
you have to
thought?
do some editing magic.
Yes. Is there anything else? Okay, you had a question for me.
Yes, I wrote it down actually, just on the spot. So going back to our early, during when we were dating or just after marriage, was there ever a moment where you questioned us?
No.
There was never a moment
No.
that you questioned us?
No. No,
Something
because
I would have done or said, or any disagreements we had, or nothing that scared you for a moment?
well, there was a moment that scared me, but it was like it was dealt with once and it never happened again.
What
It was
that?
we were moving out of my apartment,
Okay.
and it was a disaster, and it was a rush, and like it was deadline time, and me being the not organized one and you being the organized one, your neurotic self, and I was not neurotic. And I remember you seeming to lose your temper, and I remember it took me into my past scars. And that night, because you got upset about something, and it happened to be in front of my dad, and I was so, like, I was embarrassed by it, and I was like, this is gonna look like I've chosen wrong, you know. But it wasn't really a doubt about you and I. It was more like, okay, we need to figure out how we communicate in stressful situations. And so I came to you that night, and I still remember being in your arms and telling you how I felt, and you were like extremely understanding and compassionate and like apologetic, and it never happened again.
Interesting.
And that was like right at the beginning of our marriage. and so that particular thing didn't, like, that particular fear never came up again. I think the reason that I never questioned us is because I asked the Lord to choose for me. And then you came into the picture right after I asked the Lord that. And like, it was so clearly in response to what I prayed that I couldn't doubt it. And then when we got engaged and we picked a wedding date, and I was freaking out about how fast it was happening. I was like, and then the second thing that made, like, the second answer from the Lord that made me not question it was when I was thinking of postponing the engagement. And I prayed and I asked the Lord to give me the grace to tell you that I wanted to delay it. And I had the worst, most horrific night that night. And by the morning, okay, our little one's getting antsy, so we need to hurry. But I want to know, did you ever question it?
Question what?
Us. Like, I'm going to turn that same question back on you.
Actually, no.
That's honest truth.
Huh? Yeah, no, just you were such a breath of fresh air.
Thank you, man.
Kindness, like just so much, kindness and compassion in you, and it was just.
You just knew all the way through.
Just all the way through. I think maybe like you, just the speed.
Yeah.
I think even before I proposed, I asked my BFF at the time, like, is this too fast? Like, what's too fast? And it was just like, if it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
And being that it was both our seconds, it's not like we were out of high school and young puppy love, not knowing life, not knowing anything, rushing into something. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think we both had our eyes open. Yeah. Yeah. When I think the biggest thing for us was their kids, the ages that they were. We had a very realistic feeling that if we postponed things, if things got dicey because it was difficult to live apart, especially with the dynamic of so many children involved,
we just did not want to mess with that. And when we knew, we knew.
Yep.
So
there's no point in reading.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so no, I never questioned it, and just was thankful. Thankful for the Lord's answer.
Amen.
And it's fun telling her story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Someone might want to know something.
Oh yeah. So about blended families, we're going to be doing this podcast to do with second marriage, blended families.
It's important to give people some value, like and we've learned a lot, been through a lot. And it's not an easy process.
No, and so
we've failed, we've succeeded.
Yeah, like especially talking about parenting, talking about marriage, and being the second for each other. Like, there's so many things we could go over. So if anybody has any questions, we can definitely say we're more in love today than we were when we got married.
Yes.
So we consider that the Lord's success.
Yes. Amen.
and hopefully have a hopeful story to offer.
But yeah, if there's any certain topics you want
us to cover
or to touch on, let us know.
Yes. With that.
On that.
See you next time. Okay. We just kept on talking after we turned off the camera, so we thought we'd add a piece. Yeah. I added to the answer to the question, did I ever regret or worry about or question us being right for each other? And I was like, no, every time I've had anxiety over us not communicating or an argument or whatever, I've literally been able to say to the Lord, well, Lord, you picked him, so I guess you're going to figure out a way for us to communicate.
And now I know what line to use next time we're in an argument. Be like, hey, the Lord picked me, honey. Awesome. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.